What's going on?
What's
Cage
up, man?
Colas, DailyTapoutsFC. I'm here with Caleb Brown, man. Why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit, your gym, and give me like one quick interesting fact about you?
Hell yeah, I'm the number one contender for the 145 division for arena grappling right now. I recently went out and competed for them. My gym is Trinity Martial Arts in Kalamazoo. I'm a professional jiu-jitsu grappler and I love to compete, man. There was one summer where I competed last summer every weekend in the summer. So that's one.
Yeah, man, that's the competitive activity is always a goal. Now, that's speaking of the your ranking in arena grappling. That's kind of where we crossed paths originally. I was
Yeah,
actually supposed to go against your teammate Mike. I was so pissed, man. I really wanted to
yeah.
get on that
That
card,
was
but
gonna be a great match, man.
I know it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
He's got a good style.
yeah,
He always brings a good match. But tell me a little bit about your match that day. You
yeah.
had an awesome match. It was definitely one of the highlights of the day.
Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got my ass kicked for the first two rounds, man. And it's not like I was doing bad jujitsu per se. He clearly had studied some tapes on me and he was two steps ahead of me. I went back, if you watch the video in between the second and third round, you can see me talking to my dad, and I'm literally saying,
Hmm.
I'm like, this guy's like two steps ahead of me. I'm
Yeah.
too slow for him. I can't catch him. And my dad just you can hear him yelling. He just said, be a man, make it a dogfight, make it a scrap. And then eventually what I said in the pre-fight interviews, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I just did notice that his cardio was lacking a little bit, and I know cardio is a big strong suit of mine, so I knew come to late third round I was going to be able to hopefully get something in, and that's what I was able to do with about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, man. That was a really tough match for both of you. You both tested each other in
Yeah.
different aspects. It was a really good one. Now, like you
Probably my
said,
favorite match of all time, to be honest with you.
yeah, man. It was
Yeah.
a great one. Like I said, you saw the pictures I got of that match, man.
Yeah, no,
There
it
was
was
some
awesome, bro.
scrappy moments in there. It was really good. But like you said, you say you're the number one contender for the 45-pound division, right?
Yep.
You called for a title shot
Yep.
after that last win. Yeah, who are you shooting for? Who do you know who the champion is? I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't 100% know if there is one crown for 45 right now. I
Okay. I
don't know if
thought they
there is.
had one, but I think it was Jonathan Pingera. I forget how to say his last name,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
he's competing for the 55 title at Series 25. So
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it might be
I
vacant,
actually,
bro. Your shot
Jonathan,
might be there.
is the homie of mine. I
Is
met
he?
him for the
Okay.
first time I competed for arena way back last year,
Did you
and
go against Barletta in your
yeah,
debut?
yeah, I took him to a
He
draw.
beat me, man. He beat me like
Yeah,
2, 3 years ago. He's pretty
he's a
good.
dog, man. He's a
Yeah, he's
dog.
good. So the next question, you're young. You're 20 years old, right?
Yeah,
So like you're young in your competitive career as well. Like even if you have a seasoned career for your
yeah,
age, you're
yeah.
still young. So you're young in your competitive career. Like what kind of drives you? You don't see like, 20-year-olds with this like super competitive drive too often.
Um, Probably just, I've wanted to do this since I was about 10, 11 years old. I knew that I wanted to do like some sort of athletic thing with my life. I knew a lot of people who just like they were in really good shape, like a couple cousins of mine who would kick the shit out of me when we were younger. Then they get office jobs and it's like now they're very out of shape. They're kind of miserable with life. And I was like, well, I like fighting people, so may as well make a career out of it. And then, as I still do have to work jobs now and then to get by, and it's like those jobs help really give me a good reminder of like this is why I work so hard. This is why we're grinding those competitions is one day jujitsu can just be the whole life, and it's like I don't got to do anything else to provide for myself or for my girl or for anybody else.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about, building a career in the sport, right? And
Exactly.
speaking of you do have a career in MMA.
Yeah.
You're 1-1, and you did just suffer your first loss.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how
Yeah.
did that like switch your mindset to training and competing?
Man, initially it was a really hard blow to take. It was probably honestly the worst week of my life. I had like three real shitty things happening. Once a week before the fight, my best friend got shot and killed. And then I lost a fight, obviously. And then the girl I was dating at the time and me broke up like 2 days after the fight. So it was like I was probably at my lowest point. I was super depressed and like I just kind of quit training. I quit doing everything for about a month there, and I just like was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with life. And then after that, it was nice because around the Michigan scene, people have known me for a long time, so there was a heavy weight on my shoulders. So when I suffered that first loss, as much as it kind of made a lot of people write me off, it's nice for me because now it's like I get to just start at the same field that everybody else is starting at versus having all this added pressure on top of me.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your friend, but
Appreciate that,
that
brother.
kind of does get into my next question about like, your team and your gym.
Yeah.
You're fairly well known out there, but what are some of the things we can expect from guys from your gym and, your team?
leg locks is one thing you're always going to see us have. You know, we might get tapped with a leg lock, but we're always going to have knowledge of it. You're never going to see one of our guys just tapped a straight Ashi or straight whatever. But the other thing is just like what you saw in mine and Levi's match, just a dog. We're gonna try to make it a dog match. Like that's the thing we're big on at our gym is like if you're gonna lose a match, at least make that motherfucker know he was in a fight with you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
every MMA, jiu-jitsu, no matter what it is, we're trying to go make a statement. And that's not always a victory, but it always is showing and representing black tie jiu-jitsu to the fullest.
Yeah, man, and Levi, man, that match again. You
He's a
guys
dog,
showed
bro.
out, and like I said, if Mike got in there with me as well, we would have put on a damn good show, man. That would have been a
Yeah,
good
that would
one.
have been great, bro.
And my last one, I was talking
Yeah.
to your dad a little bit at Arena. He kind of dropped the lore that you were involved in some Instagram drama a
Yeah.
little bit ago.
Yeah.
And I even saw it recently. We were messaging back and forth about it, earlier this week. But definitely, was that a couple years ago now that kind of blew up?
No, that was actually at the beginning of the year.
Oh, really?
'Cause,
Okay.
yeah, the Reap took place, the famous Reap incident, as I like to call it, took place at Worlds of 2024 in
Oh,
Vegas.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just kind of what was like the backlash of that? Like how did you deal with that? You seem like a guy who doesn't really care about what people think of you, which is a good thing, but how'd you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, there was about like one night where like when I saw like Lachlan Giles and a couple other like dudes who I've watched since I was little were just like shit talking me. I was like, damn, this sucks. But then after that, I was like, I don't really give a fuck because it's like the nice thing about grappling is even if someone's a successful grappler, it doesn't like, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular when I say this, so I'm not like shit talking anybody. I'm
Mhm.
just saying it's very easy for me to deflect how other grapplers think about me because I don't really give a fuck. Like my life is not based around all grappling. I have a decent amount of friends. I have a family I love very much. So it's like as long as I'm good with them, I'm gonna be straight. You know what I mean? So uh really in my personal life there was no backlash. I mean, a lot of people hit me up for the first time asking what a reap was, and I had to explain to a lot of non-jiu-jitsu friends and family. But other than that, really it was just, a lot of jokes, a lot of memes with my friends, but no personal impact. I had a lot of people say I should be banned from competing and stuff like this, but thankfully promoters are, you know, not total retards like the people online.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that lasted too long. It's a couple seconds of like infamy, and
Yeah,
then
exactly.
it
And honestly,
passes.
my Instagram blew up and I still get like 7K, 8K viewers a post off of it now. So
There
I'm
we
like,
go,
I'll take it,
man.
you know?
Just actually one more. Your dad had a career in martial arts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What were his, I got to speak with him briefly, but I
Mhm.
don't know too much about him. Just, what are some of his accomplishments in martial arts?
So the majority of his accomplishments are in Taekwondo back in the day.
Okay.
He kind of has like an unconventional martial arts journey because he started Taekwondo when he was about 13, 14 years old. And then he took a bunch of time off after that until he was about 30, just about. And then he was with my mom at the time and he just dove real deep into Taekwondo and he was on a super competitive team with a couple like I think one dude might have made Olympic alternates and some real high level guys. And he was just kind of the 30-year-old guy getting the shit kicked out of them. And he eventually made his way up and he actually qualified for nationals. He was a state champ in Michigan and he was ranked number 11 in the nation.
Oh, nice.
And then I think he had a kickboxing fight and he had two MMA fights booked, but both of them fell through. It was actually, there at it. It was the craziest thing. It was back in the Wild West days and both of them we showed up to the show and the state was there and they're like, nope, we're shutting this down.
That's nuts, man.
But he's gotten some good jujitsu wins. He competes pretty regularly in jujitsu now, and that's where the majority of his focus is. And yeah,
Yeah, man, he was clearly very knowledgeable about, jujitsu and the
yeah,
martial arts in general and competition mindset, stuff like that when I was speaking to him.
yeah,
Just the last thing, man, just give me like
yeah,
your final message to your family, friends, fans, like all that type of
yeah.
stuff.
Thank you everybody for supporting me and hating me. It means a lot to me. Please keep it up and tune in. I don't think my next match will be August 2nd with Arena, but I think my next big match I'm on is September 2nd for the Jeff Curran Invitational. I have a very game opponent. I think he's a black belt. So that'll be a fun time and make sure to tune in for the title shot because I always put on a show.
Nice, man. And just shout out your socials real quick before
Yeah,
we get out of here.
Caleb Brown MMA on Instagram, Caleb Brown Nutrition on Instagram, and just Caleb Brown Nutrition on TikTok.
Sounds good, brother. All right, I appreciate it, man. I'll
Yeah,
shoot you.
appreciate you a
I'll
lot,
shoot
man.
you.